Okay, hey, what's up everybody? This is Jimmy Hoppa from Import Gaming for the win, of course, and I'm here with another pickups video. It's been a while, and something that nobody needed and nobody asked for. Well, I guess some people asked for it since I did put up a poll on Twitter, and video for pickups won out. But yeah, so anyways, I'm just going to do this video. It's all about Akihabara, as you could tell from the title. Over the past year, I've gone to Akihabara 5 times, just kind of side trips. Usually I have something to do with my job, but I usually have a little chance to kind of go out to Akihabara. And disclaimer, this is probably going to be like an hour of a guy just rambling. I'm not a very good speaker when I don't have a script. Stuttering, bad grammar, all the works. So if you get triggered by that, dislike and turn off the video. And yeah, and also, as this is going to be pretty bare bones, I'm going to try to talk about each thing a little bit, but I don't want to go too long. But yeah, I got some really cool pickups from Akihabara. Spent way too much money. If you follow me on Twitter, you know that I buy a lot of video games, and I usually get really, really great deals. I buy games every week. There's like a big haul of games, and I post the pictures on Twitter. I probably should do videos on them, really, but I don't want to become a pickups channel. But yeah, well, Akihabara, you're not going to find super incredible deals usually. But if there's something you're looking for, chances are you're going to find it in Akihabara for a price. So I figure, I like finding good deals. I don't spend too much on video games. But when in Rome, when in Akihabara, right? So, but yeah, that's why I'm never going to be a rich man. But anyways, let me start off with some pickups. My first trip, and you know what? I'm going to grab this little placemat here that I have. Get rid of this glare. There you go, a little bit of ghouls, ghouls and ghosts action here. Little placemat. Get rid of that glare. But yeah, I'll just go ahead and start off. I'm going to try to do these by store. There are a few stores that I usually frequent in Akihabara, and I'll kind of talk to you about the stores as well as pickups. So first, of course, the well-known, legendary Super Potato. Everybody knows about it. Super Potato's great. Been going there. Well, I went there for the first time, like probably in the year 2006 when I was in college. A great store, and yeah, it hasn't really changed much over the years. But first, I guess a fitting theme, I got this Dai Makaimura for the Mega Drive, and it wasn't like super cheap or anything, but I love the artwork. Unfortunately, the spine is a little bit faded, but here you go, perfect. But Mega Drive games in my area are pretty hard to find, so I figure it's not the best deal, but pick it up. Get it cheap. I'm not going to tell you the prices really for these. I'll give you kind of a general ballpark maybe. But yeah, Dai Makaimura for the Mega Drive. Great game. Over at Super Potato, I got this. It's a little clear file of Tron Bonne. Misadventures of Tron Bonne, also known as Tron Kobun in Japan. Big fan of the Tron character, and I like the Mega Man Legends Rockman Dash games more than the original games or the X series. So blasphemy, I know. I also picked up this little, I thought it was a shitajiki, like a little pencil board, but it's more like an advertisement. It's too flimsy to be like a pencil board. But this is for UK troublemakers, or mischief makers as is known in the state. Great game, and I just wanted to have this because it's kind of hard to find merchandise on the series. And the last thing I picked up at Super Potato, well, not the very last, there's one more thing, but I'm going to keep that for the very last part of this batch. Is Ganbare Goemon Karakuri Dochu for the MSX2. If you watched my video on the Ganbare Goemon LCD game, I talked about this briefly, showed it off briefly, but I actually bought this about a year ago in Akihabara for the MSX2. This is my first MSX2 game with a little cartridge, and I bought this more for a collector's purpose than anything else because and maybe I have a way to play it now, but back then I didn't have a way to play it, so I thought it was really cool. I love these boxes, and it's just kind of cool novelty to have MSX2. So there's most of the stuff I got at Super Potato. Another store I went to is called Retro Game, and I'm not a huge fan of Retro Game. I actually believe I know the owner of the chain. He owns a lot of stores called Omoshiroland Camp over in Kochi, in Shikoku, and the guy took me out to dinner a few times. Really nice guy, kind of a eccentric, kind of a rich man. But yeah, his store it's okay. It's really crammed, so I don't really like going there in Akihabara. But I got 2 Game Gear games. Lunar Sanpo Suru Gakuen, or Lunar, it's walking school, but Lunar Magic School I think is the way it's kind of better known. But yeah, little Game Gear game, Lunar spin-off. I believe this was the first iteration of the game, and it got ported to the Saturn, which I also have that game as well. Upgraded port, and a Magic Knight Rare Earth game for the Game Gear. I wish I could capture Game Gear gameplay, because I have a lot of Game Gear games I'd love to talk about on Import Gaming FTW, but as it stands, I don't have it. I can either emulate or I can get a Retro Freak, because they recently released the adapter for Game Gear and stuff. But it's like an adventure game. I don't know, I actually haven't played it yet, but I like Magic Knight Rare. The game, the anime, the manga, everything. And the last store that I went to is Friends, which is a little far from like the main sprawl, not too far, like a block or 2 over from the main sprawl of Akihabara. But really great little shop, 2 stories. All these stores pretty much, except for one I'm going to talk about today, you can see on Kid Shoryuken's channel. He does an Akihabara shops series, and he kind of walks you through them, records the gameplay there. Definitely would check that out, and I may or may not use his footage here, with or without permission. So yeah, definitely check those out, really interesting. And Friends is a great store. The prices are usually pretty good. I mean, everything you get in Akihabara is pretty much better than eBay, or I wouldn't say Yahoo Auctions, but eBay in general is pretty pricey. Things are usually like about half the price. But first thing I got is Namco Super Wars for the Wonder Swan Color, or the Swan Crystal, works on either one. And this is like a kind of a strategy game with all of the Namco, well, popular Namco heroes and heroines. Of course, I kind of got this because Valkyrie, front and center. Obviously a big fan of the Valkyrie series. If you haven't checked out the Valkyrie videos I've done, plug here. But I bought this kind of for that because I wanted to talk about it. Same thing with Game Gear, though. I can't record footage from a Wonder Swan Color. I could, shoot the camera, at the game screen, but that's not very practical, nor is it very nice looking. But I like this because not only is Valkyrie a character in the game, but a lot of the other kind of lesser known, like Gilgamesh. There's a Titan no Kagekyo. I don't even know who this is. But yeah, some pretty interesting looking game. I'd love to play. I see Kai over here in the corner. But yeah, can't record footage. Maybe someday. I also picked up the original Ganbare Goemon. So now I have the MSX2 and I have the Famicom version. And I used to have this game, but I gave it to a friend. He opened up a bar over in Kochi, and his bar only lasted like less than a year. I didn't want to ask for my games back, but it was good to have this game again, complete in box. Very cheap game, usually on eBay and in Japan. You can find these card sleeves for like $1 here. But I like having complete in boxes, especially for a series that I really love, like Ganbare Goemon. But yeah, Kara Kuridochu someday, video on both of these. That's my goal, cover every single Ganbare Goemon game in existence. And I got a couple of books from friends as well. They have a really cool section of books on the second floor. Of course, Valkyrie's, The Adventure of Valkyrie, Walkure no Boken. And I featured this book a little bit in the video I did of it. So another cheap plug, check it out. But I like to have books and instruction manuals for my videos because, if you've seen my videos, I tend to usually have like a lot of pictures of the instruction manual, scans. It's just something I like to do. I don't like to do cartridge only or loose carts because I can't get that footage. So this was very useful in finding in scanning some things for the video, and it was actually very useful because with this guide I was able to beat the game. Yeah, but pretty cool book. And I also got 3 more books, one on the first Super Famicom Ganbare Goemon game, the third, and the second, which I already did a video on. I don't really need these guides. Well, maybe the third one. It's a little more open-ended than the other entries in the series. But I just bought these basically for the collection, and I already have a fourth manual, so now I have at least one manual for each game on the Super Famicom. But yeah, I just kind of like looking at the art, some cool stuff like this. I mean, look at that. Who doesn't love that? But yeah, I've got a lot of video game guides, and I particularly like the older guides. There's like a certain charm to them that you don't get with many of the newer guides for video games, if you get guides at all. But okay, so those were from Super Potato, not Super Potato, Friends. But I got one more thing on this trip, and it was a particularly pricey item, and that is this game. This is Gurume Sentai Barayaro for the Super Famicom, and I put it in a little protective. I had one of these protective coverings, and I thought this would be the best game to put it in. This is a extremely rare and usually very pricey Super Famicom game from, I think Wins is the developer. There you go, 1995 Wins, and published by Version Interactive Entertainment. It is a bizarre beat-em-up game, a very good one in my opinion. It's kind of centered around food, the Sentai culture. It's weird, it's hard to explain, but I paid way too much for this game. This is one of my dreams for collecting, has been to get this game in particular, and I have that dream complete now, so glad to have it done. But I paid way too much for this. Usually I don't want to spend more than like 20 bucks for a game, 50 bucks for a game. This is the first time I've spent more than $100 for a used game. But I would say it's well worth it just to be able to hold this. I bought a Super Famicom guide recently, said this is in the top 10 rarest Super Famicom games, so I got something rare now. This was actually a lot cheaper than it usually goes for, because I think because this little smudge here, which, big deal, I don't really care about that stuff, I guess this smudge here, but it's probably like a third of the price of what it usually goes for on eBay. And in fact, on another trip to Akihabara, at Super Potato, they had another copy of this game, and it was like $200 more than what I paid for here. But other than that little smudge, then the game is in pristine condition. I have a little manual in this plastic thing, and you know, I had them check to make sure it worked, because I didn't know when I was going to come back if I had to return it. But great condition. I actually have planned on doing a video on this game for years, and I have a co-op complete gameplay session with a friend I recorded like 2 years ago, back when I was living in Hawaii still. I have a bootleg of this game, and when I bought it I didn't know it was a bootleg. Then I easily figured it out. I figured it out soon after buying it, and I was like, oh, that's bullshit. So I talked to the guy. The guy basically gave it to me for very cheap, because he quote-unquote didn't know it was a bootleg. So I have that recorded, and I would love to use that for a video, but it's an S-video, and now I have a FrameMeister, now I have SCART, RGB cables, whatever, and I need to re-record it, because, I mean, if I have that kind of capability, I might as well use it. I just need to find another person to play this game with me, because I don't know anybody here in where I live that are really into video games. If you watched the Legend of Valkyrie video, I had a co-op partner, but she doesn't play video games, so she's dying all the time. And I think for this game, you really need someone who knows what they're doing to play. So I don't know, if somebody comes out here and visits me, fingers crossed, who's a YouTuber or whatever, maybe we'll play this and I'll do a video. But yeah, also planned on, I actually wrote half a script for this too, like a year ago, because I was going to cover it in a food game special that got cancelled, but this will get covered eventually, so will the other games. Actually, one of them did, Ore no Ryori. But anyways, now I'm just rambling. So that was my first trip a year ago, sometime in the fall, to Akihabara. On my second trip, let me see, before I do that, losing myself here. I got this little Super Potato sticker, so I thought might as well. The shirts are like 30 bucks. I'm not paying 30 bucks for a Super Potato shirt. But Super Potato sticker, the official sticker, get your Wonder Soft World. And scratch and sniff, smell it. It smells like potatoes, so no it doesn't. So please do not sniff the Super Potato stickers. Alright, let me get this out of the way.
Dinner time!
And on my second trip, which was probably like a couple months later, maybe a month and a half later, another business trip, got to spend a little bit in Akihabara. Super Potato. I got this Legend of Valkyrie VHS, which it's basically just a walkthrough, a one continue, clear, 1cc walkthrough of the game. Very short, and that's about it. Bare bones, no specials, no extras. Recorded kind of in this interesting split screen type of view. But yeah, I featured this videotape a little bit in my Legend of Valkyrie video. And it's just cool to have a VHS of a video game. I've been kind of collecting stuff like this recently, so definitely one to have. Legend of Valkyrie. And I also got this Nappletail guide. And, well, spoilers, I just recently completed a full, complete, 100% playthrough of this game, and expect a video on it sometime soon. Didn't really have to use the guide so much because it's not a very, complex game, but again, like with the Valkyrie guide, I just kind of want to have these things, one as a collector, but two because when I do my videos, I like to scan things and use them in the videos. It makes it a lot more interesting than just gameplay or, God forbid, going on screen, going going in front of the camera and just talking, no thanks. So, those are some things I got from Super Potato. I went to a store called Beep. I couldn't go to Friends. Friends is closed on Tuesdays. I learned that the hard way. And a lot of times I went to Akihabara over the past year. It's been on Tuesdays. But I found a store called Beep. Somebody on Twitter let me know about this store. And Beep is this awesome game store that specializes in old PCs, but they have little games for everything. But things like the MSX, the Sharp 68000, X68000, stuff like that. Really awesome store. It's my favorite store in Akihabara now for sure. And the staff there is really friendly. They have a conversation with you, which is it doesn't really happen too often in game stores in Japan, or especially in Akihabara. But anyways, what I got there. It specializes in PC. But I didn't buy any PC games or anything like that. But what I did get was Dead or Alive Ultimate for the Xbox. So that was an underwhelming pickup. But well, it's just Dead or Alive 1 and 2 on Xbox. It was like $3, so I was like, I wanted to have it too. So $3, can't say no. Sonic the Hedgehog 3. Let me put these other games down. Sonic 3. Really love the box art for the Sonic games in Japan. US box art's cool. I mean, I grew up with those, but it really got this funky, like, super screams just like the 90s. Look at that. Look at how hardcore. Look at that toot. Sonic, much less toot in Japan than in America. But, yeah, this was like $10, so I wanted Sonic 3. It's got a little bit of weird color fading here, but I don't really care about stuff like that. Also got myself, this one, Lunar 2 for the Sega Saturn. This was like $2. Not the most amazing pickup, but hey, I like Lunar 2, and I needed it for Saturn. I got Rent-A-Hero #1 for the Dreamcast. This was also like, $3 or $4. Very interesting back artwork. I'd love to do a video on this sometime, but I gotta find the Xbox one so I can do all three. Let's see. Ganbare Goemon Gaiden 2, which is the second RPG in the Goemon series. There was another one, of course, Ganbare Goemon 1, for the Famicom, and a couple, I think, on the Game Boy Color. But anyways, got the large cartridge. Really cool manual. Very, very stylized. I love instruction manuals. I miss that games don't have that. Nor do they have really the magic of games of the past. It's the box is a little beat up. I think it was like under $10 for this. And I can't close it now. Alright, there you go. A little beat up, some stickers and stuff like that, but I kind of find these kind of imperfections a little charming. Shows that a game has history. And yeah, I'm not really into like mint condition, especially when it drives up prices so high for collectors. And then, fitting with what I got in that first trip, I got UK Troublemakers, the game, for the N64, and you get this in the US version. I don't know how much it is now, but I imagine it's pretty expensive. But in Japan, this is still pretty cheap, like $10 to $15. But excellent game, highly recommended for anybody who has an N64 or any fan of Treasure, because Treasure is awesome. Okay, and the last thing I got from Beep is this. And, you know, since I do have a Frame Meister now, thanks to Avalanche Jared for pushing me on that, and thanks to My Life in Gaming for creating their fantastic little series on it, and kind of what pushed me over. But this is a Dreamcast RGB cable, which is kind of weird because, you know, Dreamcast doesn't have native RGB. They have VGA output, right? But I don't know the technical things. I'm not going to even pretend like I know, but all I know is this gives a really clean, beautiful signal from my Dreamcast to my Frame Meister, and it makes games look cool. And I know that Avalanche Jared, I told him about this cable, and just a few days ago he picked up one for himself. This was actually made by one guy who I think he exclusively deals with Beep now, but probably within the nerd circuit, he's probably well known for making cables. But this is Type 1, and there's a Type 2. Maybe I'll buy Type 2 sometime, but I know that there are a few games that don't work with this, there are a few games that don't work with that, but whatever. Every game I've played with this so far has worked great, and I recorded that Nappletale footage with this, and it looks amazing in my opinion. So yeah, there you go. That was Trip 2. Let me get this out of the way. Oh, you know what? I forgot about this game over here. The last thing I bought from Beep, yeah, I bought a lot of games at Beep, is this, which is Divine Ceiling. Now, Divine Ceiling, MDO, okay, ROM cassette. Divine Ceiling is a game for the Mega Drive, and let me see if I can open it up here. It's a very special game. Here's the manual. Okay, very bare bones manual. Okay, kind of reminds me of US Genesis manuals. And here's the actual cartridge. So, pop this out for a second. Oh, that doesn't look exactly official. Well, it's because it's not exactly official at all. This was a one of those third-party games that were made for the Genesis, the Mega Drive. And, well, if you know anything about third-party games and having hot, cute anime girls on the cover, it only means one thing. Titties, right? So, this is a shooting game, and a lot of TNA in it. Usually goes for very expensive, but Beep had it for cheap. They actually had 2 copies. One of them, it's funny enough, this one is not the one that had it, but one of them had a sticker from Yodobashi Camera, which is a very prominent, you know, huge electronics chain in Japan. So it's kind of funny that this game was sold at a legit retailer in Japan, because Japan's bootleg stuff is pretty taboo in Japan. But anyways, love to do a video on this. I already have a plan for this as well. So, you know, if I had all the time in the world, all these games would have videos done. But unfortunately, I'm not a YouTuber. So, okay, next, the third trip to Akihabara. Let me go ahead and grab it now. Nothing too special, but these are little chirashi, little advertisements. One is for Purikura Daisaksen, or Princess Clara Grand Battle Plan. I did a video on this, I don't know, like 2 years ago now. A really cool Sega Atlas third, isometric perspective, kind of like shooting game, arcade game, Saturn game. Check out the video plug. So, awesome game. Just wanted to have this just because I want to frame this and put it up somewhere on my wall. And the same thing with Pop Full Mail. And yeah, Mega CD version, Sega CD. This one doesn't have a back. I'm pretty sure it's not just a printout. I don't think Super Potato would do that to me. But these were pretty cheap, so more expensive than most of the games I bought. But yeah, same thing, just little advertisements. Cool to have those. Next one is Ganbare Goemon 2 for the Famicom, which is, I love that little gold shine. Over all the years, yeah, I've been a huge Ganbare Goemon fan. This is one of the few games I've never owned before, so played it before, you know, maybe a little bit of emulation here and there, but arguably the better, I mean, pretty much universally accepted as the better Famicom Goemon game, and I guess I agree with that sentiment, but the original's got a little soft spot. Yeah, really cool. I kind of love, before Goemon kind of had his character design, you know, established or kind of finalized, had these really cool, really like, I don't know, papercraft looks to them, very ukiyo-e style, sharaku, those kind of things. But yeah, Ganbare Goemon 2, definitely gonna do a video on that sometime as well. And then I bought these. This is the last thing I bought at Super Potato. These Namco community magazines, NG. Again, if you saw the Legend of Valkyrie episode, I talked about this and featured it in the episode. But these were like these little kind of Namco community magazines. And I probably paid more than I should have for these, but I really wanted it for the Valkyrie video, and I just want to have it. Oh, look at that. Burning Force. Damn. Alright, so wait a sec. I thought that was like George Lucas. Oh, it is George Lucas. Look at that. Alright, well, I'll have to take a look at these a little bit more. I've only really kind of read through the Valkyrie one and kind of glanced through these, but oh, there you go, Marvel Land. Awesome. Not to be confused with Valkyrie's Marvel Land. But yeah, really cool. A lot of cool art. A lot of cool, interesting stuff. It takes you back to the era for sure. But those were from Super Potato. And again, Friends was closed, so I didn't have a chance to go there. Oh, I completely forgot about these. Alright, I'm getting confused. I got these on my second trip, but whatever. I got these at Beep as well. Shining Force 2 Encyclopedia. Man, this for Pigos video, this is a disaster. But yeah, pretty standard information in the game. Kind of cool photos like that one you just saw here. I'm wondering if these are just, you know, photos they bought from a third party and to use in the guide, or maybe these are photos that Sega staff took, trying to, you know, find inspiration for design. Something that's cool about old style video games, they'd send out their art team or their development team to go out and, you know, to places like Europe and kind of get inspiration. I don't think they do that anymore. Not with the internet and all that. But let's see. And then Shining in the Darkness guide. A lot of really cool art. And geez, look at that. It's not confusing at all. Yeah. So pretty cool game. I'll just put that over there. I got to go to Beep, but I didn't really buy much of anything from Beep, unfortunately. What I did buy was Namco Museum Volume 3 because it was like a couple bucks. Like the way these games look in Japan, but this is the PlayStation, the best version, so it's automatically terrible, right? Samba de Amigo 2000, little crack over here, but this was like a buck, so alright, not bad. And then Wonder Boy 5, Monster World 3, a little confusing, but I don't know, I think they had a whole bunch of these, so I'm wondering if there was just old new stock, or new old stock, or whatever from like a company. It's in really great shape. It's a really great game. I'd actually never played it before getting this, and I had a lot of fun playing it. So I don't know. I don't care if the game's new or not, but it was nice to find. And I went to another store that I haven't talked about yet called Mandarake, which is a really huge building, kind of oppressive looking black building with figures, CDs, idol stuff, and a lot of games. So one floor is dedicated just completely to video games, and I got some really cool stuff there. So without further ado, I got this. It's kind of in a VHS case, right? But oh lord. Make sure nobody's watching. NSFW. But this is AV Hanafuda Club. And this is another unlicensed game, but this time for the Famicom. And still in this little plastic over here. Kind of a cool looking cartridge. But yeah, another game with like tits. So third party, unlicensed games, usually because you know they have like ladies. But gotta say, I do like the box art. All right. I also got this for the Famicom as well. Square's Tom Sawyer, and I actually bought this because I was gonna do a kind of a little silly collaboration with somebody. That collaboration might still happen, and unfortunately, the time window for it came and went. But maybe we'll be on track for it another time. But I plan on talking about this and kind of making it into a joke. But it's a pretty cool game, and it's pretty infamous. I think if you look at the cover, you can see why. But yeah, interesting game. And I love to collect Square games, so good to have this complete in box for the first time. And I got a Super Famicom game for a game that I really enjoy. It's called Araiguma Rascal, or it's Raccoon Rascal. I have to say Rascal the Raccoon. Based on a very old animation property, which is based on an old story about a boy and his raccoon named Rascal. A really popular series in Japan from back in the day, but it recently got an update, a reboot, whatever, and they made him kind of cutesy. I kind of like his little fat, chubby Rascal. Now he's cute. He's like any old mascot character. But yeah, Rascal. I already had this game, but I only had the cartridge, so really glad to have it complete in box now. And yeah, basically, it's a puzzle game. You can play it 2-player. Really fun puzzle game. Really cute, colorful. My boy Josh Tiberius from Mississippi, he is a huge fan of this game, and he's supposed to do a video on this, and I kind of wanted to shout him out when he did the video, but I don't know, something about him, I don't know, rolling around in flowers or something. He hasn't done the video yet, but when he does, I'm gonna shout him out, and you guys should all check it out. Just check out his channel in general. He's a great YouTuber, but he just hasn't put anything out in forever. I blame the flowers. They smell so nice. Last two things I got from Mandarake were 2 Xbox games. Boom! Jet Set Radio Future. This was one of the first games I ever pre-ordered when I was in high school. I got an Xbox mostly to play this game and Sega stuff. But I love Jet Set Radio Future. You gotta love this box art compared to the States. States was okay, but this box art is it just screams the future. Great game, and I would say that I like this better than the original. In retrospect, back then I thought I was kind of disappointed because they simplified the gameplay, but the soundtrack is great, the graphics are great, the characters are great. Just simply one of the best. Smile a bit, you're the greatest. And the last thing I got for the Xbox was this. And if you're looking at this now, like, oh, you know what this is. Metal Wolf Chaos from Software. Kind of gotten a cult following recently. American president, I think the vice president as well. All full metal combat, mech suits, destruction, everything. Bad English voice acting. I got this actually for really cheap. I didn't even pay like $100 for this. So I would love to do a video on this, but unfortunately it's been covered to death. But it's just nice to have this. I remember back a few years ago, nobody had interest in this game, and it was relatively cheap at used game stores. But it's exploded in popularity because of the internet and the meme-like nature of everything. But a great game, Metal Wolf Chaos from Software, one of my favorite developers.
Self-destruct device has been activated.
Okay, so that was the third trip. Let me get this out of the way. Fourth trip was... I guess I'll talk and put this away. Fourth trip was a little... I didn't buy more than 3 things on this trip. But there's a reason, and you'll see why. And... okay. Oh, I forgot to talk about one more thing. Alright, this is also from Beep, and I bought a Sentai, or Gourmet Sentai Barayoro Chirashi, and I paid way too much for this, but I'm gonna frame it, and it's gonna look great. Okay, now the thing that I bought. First, I went to Friends, it was open, and I bought this. Okay, that's not the cool thing, but yeah, I think it's pretty cool. Soft carry disc case, so not soft, but soft wear. And this was like $5, and I have a few Famicom disc games, but they all have their original packaging, but this is probably for games that don't. And I have one single game that doesn't have its packaging, so now I have a little case. Maybe I'll collect more Famicom disc stuff. But I thought it was just cute, had a little Mario 2 cover on it. So, that was one thing. What I bought that was cool were these. Well, okay, just looks like an RGB cable. Alright, maybe was it Mega Drive, Neo Geo? No, it is for this beautiful piece of hardware. Get that in the frame. An MSX2 Hitbit F12 home computer system for by Sony. Okay, what's the MSX2? I've wanted one of these things for a long time, and as you saw earlier, I got that Goemon game, and I didn't have a way to play it. Now I do, with RGB, and it looks fantastic. Such a cool little system. I don't know, I guess it's a PC, but it feels more like a game system to me. Keyboard attached, this weird kind of directional keys, little caps, kana, pause, cartridge slot here, speed controller, little turbo. I played around with it, it's kind of weird. Let's see, a reset button over here. On the back, look at all those little outputs. You can do like standard video, you can do kind of VGA, there's the AC adapter, switch. Yeah, oops, you don't want to do that. Really, really cool. I've never had something like this before. I've never really been into like PC gaming, except for like Windows 95 era. I was all into PC gaming. DOS era as well. But fantastic, great shape. Let me adjust this camera a little bit. There you go, so I'm knocked. But very, very happy to have it. You should check out the power brick. Let me grab that real quick. This giant caution indoor use only. This Sony AC power adapter. It's huge. I don't know. It's not the hugest in the world, but it's pretty heavy and bulky. But fantastic, great. Got to play Goemon. But unfortunately, I didn't buy a controller because the store was sold out. Beep is where I bought this. Beep. Beep was sold out, and I was like, whatever, I can use the keys, but it's extremely difficult to play that game with just the keyboard. But anyways, in the future, plan on doing a lot with this MSX2. Such a beautiful thing. I would love to get a Sharp X68000, but those are expensive. This MSX2 probably ran me back maybe about $130, so not too bad. Alright, the very last trip that I just took maybe a week ago, as of this recording, obviously, I only had like maybe 3 hours to kill in Akihabara. I was there in Tokyo for a few days, but just too busy, I couldn't go out until like the last day, basically. So, Super Potato. You have to go to Super Potato on any Akihabara trip. It's just kind of like a tradition, especially for myself. I got another VHS tape that I was actually eyeing on the last trip. Namco Gal's Island, and it's all about game idols, all from Namco games. So you see Wonder Momo, you see, her name is probably Alice, but from Merhen Maze. what's that game over here, whatever. I'll see it in the back. And of course Valkyrie in the cover. Oh, Orgon, there you go. But all characters from like these, Return of Ishtar, Phelios, Bravo Man. But yeah, I haven't watched this yet. I will after I record this thing here, but pamphlet. Yeah, it's a standard VHS tape. Really looking forward to seeing what's on it. I wonder if it's just gameplay or if there's kind of information on each character. Maybe some interviews with developers would be cool. But yeah, starting out that VHS collection. And I only bought 2 things from Super Potato, and the second thing was this Namco Museum Encore, which I just recently sold my copy to a friend. The Namco Encore, which is the R. I'll just open it up here. Here's a little box. And there it is. It's the Japan only one. We didn't get this in the States, but Japan got a bonus Namco Museum game. In addition to 2 really great Namco anthology games, which may or may not be making appearances on Import Gaming for the Win videos in the future. But this is really a cool kind of set because it comes with little slots for you to put all of your Namco Museum games in. And the Encore one has, let's see, you got Dragon Saber, Rompers, Wonder Momo, Rolling Thunder, Sky Kid, Motos, and King and Balloon? Okay. So, I don't know what that last game is, but pretty, I wanted this basically for Wonder Momo, because I enjoy Wonder Momo. But yeah, cool little collection. I'm gonna put all my games in here and have a, oh, there you go, King and Balloon. I'm gonna have a nice little album of Namco Museum games, because now I have them all. So, I'll just throw that over here, actually. Alright, so last trip I bought the most games in, so you'll see quite a bit to go through. These were from Friends. I went on a Friday, so Friends was open, finally. And I was really happy because I love Friends. Not the TV show. But, alright, let me put these over here. I'll just go over kind of the more boring stuff first. I got this action game side book. You see Valkyrie, Boken, Densetsu, and Eiko are on the front. So this is covering all of the Valkyrie games, and then a lot of other games. But I haven't read this yet, but I'm going to go through and just kind of read it. They're the manga from Valkyrie. But these are pretty cool. I think I have a couple of these books, but not this volume. This is volume 1. And I think they have them for shooters and RPGs. But yeah, like really a lot of details. There you go, there's Rosen Oboken on the Valkyrie series. So this is a brand new book. Here's some of the mobile games, or one of them. I think there's like a remake as well of the original. Valkyrie's Glory 2. Some cool concept art. But yeah, as a Valkyrie fan, I wanted this because, I mean, I'm a Valkyrie fan. I love the Valkyrie series, as you can tell. Yeah. I also got another Valkyrie thing, which was... oh my god, I've lost it. I think I've lost it. Whoa, lost the plot. Oh, alright, I'm back. Alright, I found it. It was under a game. Stupid me. But I also got this. It's the Valkyrie no Densetsu Namco Game Sound Express Volume 1. But Valkyrie no Densetsu soundtrack. Really, just really something for me to have, you know, just as a collector. I think there's an interview in here, some music compositions in here, a little spying card, some artwork, but not too much I haven't seen before. These are kind of new to me. But yeah, I love the Legend of Valkyrie series. Unfortunately, Victor, these jerks, are the ones who did a lot of Namco's music for them back in the day. And so they have the rights to this music, and they will flag pretty much anything on YouTube that uses their music. Music from Namco games. In my experience, the last 2 Valkyrie videos I did, Victor just claimed them, and I had to adjust things and get around it. But that sucks because it's game music. You'd think that it'd be pretty safe, but Not when Victor's in town. You know, they're the cops. Alright. As far as other books, I got 2, and I paid way too much for these, but 2 Princess Crown guidebooks. This is the adventure guide. A lot of really great artwork in it, but of course the guide for the game itself. Great character art. Princess Crown is a game. This is one of the first import games I ever played, and I bought it from a friend when I was in 8th grade. This is when it was still pretty new. He said it was better than Final Fantasy VII, and I was like, I don't think so, because I was a huge FF7 fanboy at the time. And eventually he sold me the game for...
Squirrel!
Uh-oh. Recording. Alright. Fortunately, he sold me the game... he sold me the game for... Sorry, I thought my camera was going to cut out. He sold the game for like 35 bucks, you know, which is about how much it goes for now, I think. But, yeah, really gorgeous game. Excellent game. I'm a huge fan of George Kamitani's work. And this is one of the games that I originally wanted to do on Import Gaming for the win. And I thought, I'm going to do the game justice. I want to do the game justice, so I didn't want to do it early on and do a crappy video like most of my videos were early on. Even now. Okay, so my my SD card got full. Sorry for that. I got cut off a little bit. But yeah, that's what happens when you don't plan these things out completely 100% right. So, now that that's settled, I think I was rambling about this stuff anyway, but just real quick, there will be a Princess Crown video coming soon. I think that while I can always get better at editing, I feel like pretty confident that I can do the game justice. And I had a poll on Twitter. People wanted to see this game beat out Nappletail, but I'm doing Nappletail first. But expect this in the future in beautiful RGB gameplay recordings. Okay, so that's another book, and a pair of books. I also got another Valkyrie, Adventure of Valkyrie guide. It was supposed to come with a map, but unfortunately the map is missing. But a lot of really cool artwork, a lot of really... I mean, it's information I already know, because I have the other guide, but pretty cool. I just keep collecting Valkyrie stuff because I'm a huge fan of the series. Spine is a little faded, but I don't really care about that. Most of these game guide spines are faded. And I got another Super Famicom Goemon 1 guide, and these were both pretty cheap, so I figured might as well pick them up. And this is like my 3rd favorite game of all time. A lot of memories playing The Legend of the Mystical Ninja, so I have to have this guide. Yeah, I really like this kind of artwork too. You know, before they really established the Goemon style, which they kind of did in the 2nd and 3rd games, he was kind of all over. So looks a lot like he does in the game. So kind of cool. All right. As far as games go, I bought this at Friends. This is Triggerheart Excelica for the Dreamcast, and it's a huge glare. But yeah, Triggerheart Excelica, a really awesome shooting game, colorful. This is the version that comes with like a little soundtrack CD. I don't know if all the tracks are in there, but yeah, I think it's cool to have these Dreamcast games that are in the DVD cases. They're kind of a pain to put together with your Dreamcast collection, but really great game. Excellent HD remake on the Xbox 360, and I'm sure other platforms. I don't know about them. Actually, it was funny because I saw it. I've wanted a figure for Excelica for years. This giant, huge figure, and they had it at a book-off near my hotel, and I really, really wanted to get it. It was like 60 bucks, but it's just huge, and it's... I don't know. I didn't want to bring it back home. It was huge, and I didn't want to have to... maybe I don't really care too much about this stuff, but maybe I was like, I don't really want to lug a giant anime figure and have people at my work be like, well, what's in the bag? Why do you have this giant anime figure in there? That wasn't really worth the explanation. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, fellow weebs, I'm sorry. I couldn't carry the torch. And the last few things I bought at Friends were some Super Famicom stuff. First off, the Super Game Boy Commander controller from Hori, which is Hori and ASCII. I don't know, I can't really tell who's the best, but I kind of put them in the same group as, you know, the greatest third-party peripheral creators. But yeah, they said it was brand new. This was like 25 bucks. It wasn't too expensive, but said it was brand new. It's in really great shape. Looks like it's brand new. Over here is a little bit of like, I think it's probably from the scratching over here, but pretty cool. I actually really like the Super Famicom controller, but I'm gonna give this a try for Game Boy stuff. I mean, there are a ton of Game Boy games I have that I'd love to do videos on, and yeah, I'll try it out with this, maybe to make the experience a little more authentic. But that are cool kind of controls, and yeah, SGB Commander. It's kind of more of a novelty than anything. Alright, I got this. This is Parodius Da for the Super Famicom. This is yeah. One of the greats, one of my favorite shooting game series from my favorite third-party publisher of all time. I know it's not a popular opinion to have these days, but Konami's the best. At least they were. But yeah, funny, great game. I think this is my third copy of this. I have a couple of loose copies, but those will be sent out to people in the future. Yeah, this was pretty cheap. It's not in the best condition, but I don't really care about that too much. I actually kind of prefer these Konami. Vertical scrolling is fine, but I like horizontal scrolling shooters a little more. I tend to find that they're a little more fun. My favorite shooter like that is Deathsmiles, so I gotta tell you something about myself. Bad or good. This is Jikyo Shabri Parodius. I think usually it's in English they just say chatting Parodius, but yeah, voice chatting. There's voices in this game. I have the PS1 version of this game, and it's pretty cool. But you know, always good to have more of these. Now I have all the Super Famicom Parodius games. I just need to get Gokujo Parodius with the box. I have the manual on the cart, but not the box, unfortunately. And that game is cool because you can play as Goemon and Ibisumaru. This one I believe you cannot. But hey, look, you can play as Upa. Consolation. And the last Super Famicom game I bought from friends is Pop Full Mail. And now I have this one, I have the Mega CD, and I have the PC Engine Pop Full Mail. All I need is the PC one, and I think I'm good with the Pop Full Mail series, but I had this game many years ago, and I remember not liking it for some reason. Maybe I was too into the Xbox 360, and I needed those achievement points. But really great series, and I love this little character, and I like Nihon Falcom's great. Unfortunately, I don't have a lot of experience with their games, but every time I've played one of their games, it's always left me impressed. But this is a lot different from the Mega CD version, a lot different from the PC Engine version, and I can pretty much say without a doubt different from the PC version. But yeah, maybe I'll do a Japan-only Pop Full Mail series video someday. I can't promise anything because I'm only gonna disappoint.
Disappointed!
Okay, so at Beep, I went to Beep and I picked up some pretty cool things. First off, I was going to talk about this is Joy-Card. It's a weird looking controller, kind of funky, got a little turbo. Well, is this what, for the Genesis? For the Mega Drive? No, it's for the MSX. So, MSX and MSX2 and PC kind of systems. But now I finally have a controller. I used it, I played Goemon, and it's awesome. Need to have a controller to play a lot of these games on the MSX2. I don't know how people can do keyboard. But yeah, now it's great to have this, and I can do MSX stuff with ease. I also got some PC Engine games. Valis 2, Valis 3. These were really cheap, and I like the Valis series. They're not the greatest games in the world, but they're charming. Someone's out there with their motorcycle. I don't know if you can hear that. He likes Valis too. Yeah, man, rock on. Valis. But yeah. PC Engine. CD. Oh, that's upside down. Oh, look, a little bit of omake. I wonder if anybody actually cut this out and made these little paper dolls. I doubt anybody did. And I got Gradius, or Nemesis, for the MSX1, the original MSX. And it wasn't too expensive, and doesn't play well as Gradius on like the Famicom, Nintendo, and of course arcade and all that. But it's kind of neat. I kind of like the way it plays. The scrolling is funky on MSX games. But here we go, Konami. A little cartridge. How to play. I want to say, oh no, it's not in English as well, but yeah, interesting. Not something I'm going to probably spend too much time on, but I just kind of wanted to have it. And I got an MSX2 game from Namco. We push this back a little bit. Can you see it? This is the Ishtar no Fukatsu, or the Return of Ishtar. Ishtar's Resurrection. You got Gil, you got Kai. This is the, I believe this happens immediately after the events of the Tower of Jiraga. And that side over there. And I have this on Namco Museum, I think Volume 4. And it's a co-op game. I think you play single player too. I played it for a little bit. It's a little weird. The scrolling is weird just because it's MSX. I was having fun. Oh, that happened. Namco cart is kind of confusing. Oh, there's a guy over there. It's like different from the Konami style, but really awesome looking manual. Cool texture to it. Man, just like I just love the size of these boxes and everything. It just really takes me back to an older era. But maybe I'll do something on the Jiraga series someday. I kind of wanted to after the Valkyrie stuff, but to be honest, I don't know if I want to commit. You know. That over back there. Okay, and rounding up my pickups, the last things I got. Oh, this video is like over an hour long. I went to a store next to Beep that I can't recall the name of, but I've seen it before. It's literally like the next building over to where Beep is, and it's open till 10. Like, most of the stores in Akihabara they close at 8 o'clock, but the store stays open till 10, and it's really cool. A little pricey. Not many people in the store, so it's not super cramped. But yeah, anyways. First thing I got is this game over here, Ganbare Goemon Kurufune to no Nazo. So this is the game that got released in Europe and America as Legend of the Mystical Ninja GB. It's probably the worst entry in the series. Unfortunately, Konami Computer Entertainment Nagoya, the ones who also did Kurunada Koi, which I did a video on, they didn't really do a great job with the series. But hey, you know, it's better than what we got now, right? Patchy slot. But yeah, I just needed this to kind of round out my collection. I'll give it a playthrough sometime. Let's see, I got a couple of PlayStation 1 games that I've been looking for forever. Poppin' Tanks from Enix, which is a cute, colorful little action game for the PS1. I actually had this game before, and I've wanted to do a video on this for a long time. I didn't have the manual for this, so I sent this over in a box to Avalanche Jared, so he has my old copy. But now I have one with a manual. I wonder if, hey, Jared, you can do a collaboration on this if you want. I know you really like the game. It's a great game. And I don't see too many people talking about it, so maybe a PS1 Gems episode. And I got Koro Koro Postnin, which is from, what is it, Media Entertainment, and it's this weird, quirky little kind of action game. It's kind of hard to explain. I'll just show some gameplay here, probably. But I've wanted this for a long time as well, and I was happy to find it for, I think, relatively cheap. I think it was about 20 bucks. But, yeah, maybe, yeah, PS1 Gems video. I don't know if I want to do a video just on this by itself. Maybe I've wanted to do weird, wacky, and whimsical PS1 import games kind of video, and I'd probably put this in there. Gotta put some more time into it though. See, I got another MSX2 game, and I got it basically because it was really cheap. This is my Maison Ikoku for the MSX2, based on Rumiko Takahashi's legendary manga and anime series. Anime, as I probably would just say myself. But yep, follows the exploits of, I think Godai is his name, her name's Kyoko. I used to love this series growing up, and it was cool stickers. I played this for a little bit, and I was extremely bored. Maybe the Famicom or PC Engine Maison Ikoku games are a little more fun. But I don't know, maybe it's just my system. Maybe I need more RAM. But yeah, it was slow. So I didn't really play it more than maybe 10 minutes. I'll give it another shot though. I've played some Rumiko Takahashi adventure games in the past, and I've had a lot of fun playing them. So it's probably a good game under there. Another thing I got was another MSX controller. This is the Panasonic Joypad, and this is the one I actually wanted. It's not the most comfortable controller in the world, but I just like the way it looks, the style, and now I can play 2-player in that Ganbare Goemon game. And I guess I'll find a co-op partner, and she might not be the best player. He might be not he might oh my god. He might not be the best player either. I don't know. I'm not going to discriminate here, but it's probably going to be a woman. Just how I get around. But yeah. But somebody comes to visit me, I'd love to play some Goemon with them on MSX2. But yeah, the joypad there. And the last thing I got from that store, there's so many things I wanted to get, but I saw this and I had to pick it up. Genpei Tomaden, the computer board game. And it's something I've had my eye on for a long time. Genpei Tomaden, as you might know, or you probably know, great action game from Konami. Talked about it briefly in my PC Engine games video. Actually kind of gave it almost proper coverage. Brought it up briefly in my Gensou episode because of the controversy surrounding this game and that. But this is for the Famicom, and rather than an action game, just as I said, computer board game. So you got the game cartridge, you got little pieces, got little metal Taira no Kagekyo in here. Kind of a interesting looking, nice little detail. Reminds me of something from like Warhammer. But yeah, and little pieces in here. Let me grab this over here. Cards for use in the game. Magatama over there. A little manual for the game, and the actual board game under it. I'll just pull it out while I'm talking, but interesting that they would go the route of board game for this series. I don't know if there was like a popular thing. I know there are a few board games on the Famicom, like I think Rock Board, 1999 is one I'm interested in. But yeah, maybe it was a popular thing. Oh, here you go. Here's the board game. Really thick, high quality. I'll knock off all my games. Cool. Yeah, it's kind of just like the game. You travel around parts of Japan, and in the game, like these are little levels. So enemies from the game. Pretty cool. I'll have to find someone to play this game with me, and maybe I'll do a video on it. Maybe I'll do a Famicom board games episode, and I know just the guy who'd be interested in doing that. So I'll keep that in mind. Maybe do something interesting with co-op gameplay, but not in the same room. But yeah, so those were all of my pickups from Akihabara over the year. 5 trips, a lot of games, some really cool finds, in my opinion. Like I said, I do a lot of game shopping, and when I do go game shopping, I usually find them for like incredibly cheap. Like I'm talking like $1 for games that usually go for, I don't know, $50+ like that. I post them all to Twitter. Well, not all, but most of my finds I post to Twitter. If you're interested in that, check me out there. I would honestly hope that everybody would quit Twitter because Twitter sucks. But yeah, I post these things there. If you want to see more pickups videos, I could do a pickups video like every month if I wanted to. Just let me know. I'd rather honestly want to spend my time on real video projects, what little time I do have to spend on them. But yeah, if you guys like this, let me know. If you guys didn't like it, let me know. I'm sure I'll see a lot of thumbs down on this video anyway. But yeah, that's Akihabara. Thanks for watching if you made it all the way through. Seek counseling. There's something wrong with your life. Why are you watching an hour-long pickups video on import games? But you know what? I don't know who's worse, you for watching or me for making it. But anyways, all joking aside, thank you very much, and take care. Bye-bye, Onara.